So those are the first few techniques. Let's cover a few more. Next, we have quotes, facts, and figures. If we go back to the girl stalking the cauliflower example, this example is giving a person a quote, fact, or figure. We say, I just read this thing online that said you guys got bumped up in pay. That's fantastic. So we're using a quote, fact, or figure that we know is probably incorrect because it's triggering a need to correct the record. So I was reading on LinkedIn that everybody started leaving marketing when Johnny showed up. I just read this really cool article online that says X, Y, and Z. You know, a friend of mine actually works at that company, and he told me X, Y, and Z. We're quoting something that we heard or something that we read or something that we saw. Naivete has 2 rules. And with these 2 rules, we need to have a fascination about and a complete lack of understanding about something that someone views themselves as being good at. And that's important at this moment here, that at this point, we're talking about what they view themselves as being good at, not what they are good at. We see all these business books that says Strengths Finder, how to find your employees' strengths, how to get the people that work for you to work from their strengths. And in reality, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're the boss of a company. I'm a chief in the military. I've got 2 guys. One of those guys, I've got a big Microsoft Excel project to do. Thousands of things of data, lots of formulas and stuff. This big Microsoft Excel document has to get made so we can track stuff. I've got one guy who works for me. He's the best at Excel. He can do anything with Microsoft Excel, but he doesn't give a crap about it. He's not interested in it. I've got another guy who tells everybody how good he is at Microsoft Excel. Which one of those 2 people is going to take that project home at night and not ask for a single extra dollar, go on YouTube, do the research necessary to make it perfect, make it look even better, work harder on it, call in help from other people if he needs to, and really work his ass off to make it look good? It's the second guy. Strengths are different than what people want to be seen as being strong at. And that's where naivete comes in. Criticism is great because you can use it for all kinds of stuff. And with this, I'll bring in the bottom right technique, which is my friend John. My friend John is just a way, it's a technique I took out of a Milton Erickson book, but it's a way that we're softening the technique. If I'm complaining about someone's business or somebody's whatever, I want to remove it from myself. So I'll just say, you know, a friend of mine told me X, Y, and Z, and then I'll throw the complaint out there. So let's say hypothetically, the DirecTV guy is at your house. It's happened to me. He's jiggling cables behind the couch. And I'm like, you know what? We're probably going to switch to Verizon because, you know, their monthly bills are a little bit lower. They've got like 130 channels more than DirecTV does. And the guy says, yeah, well, we're not supposed to tell anybody, but we have a bunch of channels coming out next month. And I know your bill's high. And actually, if you go into your cart and tell them that you're going to cancel and then recheck out with your billing information again, and you enter coupon code MRM thank you, then you get 70% off your bill for the next 9 months. So I got a lot. That was just me, one criticism statement. And then I said, yeah, but you know, these remotes get old and they're like $40 to replace. And he's like, well, technically they're $40 unless one of the buttons fall off of the remote. And then it's a defective thing. So if you rip a button off, they'll give you a free one. So I said, oh, that's good to know. Then I said, but these boxes, these DirecTV boxes get old and we can't get a new one without paying a change fee or an upgrade fee. And he says, yeah, the only thing you got to do for that is unplug your box, call customer support. They'll try to connect to your cable box. They'll see that it has no connection whatsoever. They'll ask you if it's connected, say yes. a guy will come to your house with a brand new box in the back of the truck ready to install it. Done deal. And I just made 3 criticism statements, not about the person, obviously, but about who he worked for. Just 3 criticisms. And I got a lot of information, valuable information. Next, we have bracketing. Bracketing is just giving a range of numbers. And this happened, the Russians used this against the United States during the Cold War. The American sailors, these little drunk sailor children, basically children, would come off a Navy ship. They'd go sit in a bar and drink beer, and a Russian spy would go up and talk to them. And he's like, you know, those American submarines only do between 18 and 25 knots. And the sailor, after one beer, would be like, 18 to 25, where the hell did you hear that? Our subs do like 29 knots underwater. And that's how a lot of our intelligence got lost during the Cold War, especially to Russians, was from drunk Navy sailors. They figured out our propeller measurements for the propellers on the submarine. They figured out what the propellers were made of, how fast they would go, how deep they can go, so they can track our submarines better and ostensibly probably kill them. Disbelief is one of the most powerful things here. So if someone is telling a story, just the small let go of some disbelief will make the person talk more. So they're saying something like, well, you know, he was a good guy, but they had to let him go. And I said, well, if he was a good guy, there's no way they would have let him go. He seemed to be such a smart guy. And then the guy continues to talk, and I'm like, no way. There's no way that would ever happen. There's no way they would let him go if all that was true. And it continues and continues and continues. In less than 40 seconds, I was able to get a major social media company, which every one of you has on your phone, one of their senior vice presidents, to tell me something horrifying that happened at the company, just based off disbelief. He said somebody got fired, and I said, there's no way. There's no way. That guy seems like he would only go to church and shine his shoes. He's too much of a goody two-shoes. And the guy started spilling this information about how this guy would film underage interns doing bad stuff in his office, and the company's logo was in the background, and they didn't press charges because of that. And that was less than a minute and a half, probably a minute. And he wasn't drunk.